Languages in contact. Now, in a series of modules, we will look at languages in contact, which are an essential feature of bilingualism. Or, if we can say it this way, that languages in contact result in bilingual situations or bilinguality. Now, coming to think of languages in contact, as we said before, that there are over 6,000 languages in the world. Now, this is a conservative view of languages, and we have less than 200 countries in which we reside. This makes very common for us to experience situations in which different languages come into contact. So think of your own life experiences, and you would realize how much or how many different languages do you come into contact. So even if you are living in a monolingual country, then even in today's world of globalization and changing patterns of immigration, conflict, you would again come across so many communities which are bilingual, and suddenly your own need to know other languages grows with it. You must have come across these terms as if language grows, it shifts, it dies, as if it were a living organism. It is we actually, as human beings, who enable the languages to grow, to expand, to change, to develop, to shift, or to die. So these are the things that we do with languages, as languages themselves don't do this. This doesn't to themselves, or this is not a mechanical process. And again, the concept of or this situation of languages in contact becomes very important, because within this contact or within the context of these contact is what leads to this change in languages. So we will talk about what are the languages in contact situations, what are the different reasons that languages come into contact with each other, what are the consequences and what happens when they do, and then we will also talk about who is a bilingual. We talked about it briefly before. Again, before we move into the course, we will touch upon this concept again, and then we need to return to this question of what is in a language? What is language itself? How do you define it? So if bilingualism is all about languages, how do you define a language? How do you say this is a language? And if you define a language, how do you differentiate between language and dialect? So is what you are speaking, is it a dialect or is it a language? If so, maybe when I ask you this question, you can come up with an immediate answer, and you know somehow that this variety that you are speaking, if it is a dialect or a language, but the thing is that this is not as simple as we believe it to be, and it is time that we start challenging these assumptions, because this course is all about invoking a critical thinking about bilingualism. So not just taking in new facts, but to actually think about those facts and think about these concepts in relation to your own contexts.